Mixed martial arts.
That's right.
Woohoo!
That is the sound of fights coming up and the sound of chaos, because those two go hand in hand. And we haven't even had a single punch thrown, and it has already been a chaotic day ahead of UFC Austin, which goes down in a little over 30 minutes from right now. And what a card it is. What a card it was when we woke up this morning with 14 fights. That is no longer the case. Most of you probably know why that is no longer the case, but if you don't know why, I'll explain in a moment. But thank you for joining us for the People's Pre-Fight Show. I am Mike Heck. Best friends back at it once again. The incredible AK Lee joins us. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Mike, Casey. Good afternoon, everybody. We had a lot of fights today. I know. Probably everyone is seeing the news that we did lose a fight, but this is a thick card. This card's thick. It's three C's thick.
And the aforementioned Casey Leydon on the ones and twos. Wow, that is the look of all looks right there. You're like Zoolander. Just crushing it. There it is. Blue steel in the building. All right. I mean, listen, most people know the news, but if you're just joining us and you're like, oh, I have no idea what's happening in MMA today. Breaking news music, Casey.
Oh, breaking news music. Oh, wasn't ready for this. Oh, wait.
Come on now. We're a professional
It's
operation.
It's not
here.
even really breaking anymore. I mean,
Well, listen, it's a Saturday. It's an afternoon. Maybe people are out with their families, and maybe they didn't know that the co-main event between Donald Cerrone and Joe Lauzon once again not happening. And the reason is actually crazier than just the news itself, because Joe Lauzon went on his Instagram, dropped a video blog, which he typically does for his fight weeks, and explained what happened. Now, if you watch the ceremonial weigh-ins on Friday, Brendan Fitzgerald was told to say, Joe Lauzon has cramps. He's not going to be here. Here's Donald Cerrone. Cerrone comes out, steps on the scale, gets the big ovation, walks off. Apparently that was not the case at all, because Joe Lauzon hurt his knee, and he hurt his knee by putting on a pair of socks, as he explained. He was taking off his flip-flops after he successfully weighed in, went to put on a pair of socks, knee locks. They did everything they could to try to get it to unlock. Unfortunately, it's not unlocked, so he cannot walk on it. He cannot put any weight on it. Therefore, he's not fighting. So there you go. And also, apparently, Kevin Holland thwarted a robbery yesterday as well. So Friday was a little insane. Today is insane, and we have 13 really good fights to prepare for. Kevin Holland, that fight between him and Tim Means is now the co-main event. The highly anticipated, I guess we can call it a grudge match now, because things got a little testy at ceremonials yesterday. Adrian Yanez versus Tony Kelly moves up to the main card. And the fight, yeah, I know. That was a great stare down. That was an incredible stare down. I'm so fired up for that fight.
It's funny we call it a grudge match when we talk about what it's actually based on. I don't know if that's just a weird. I mean, I guess we'll call it what it.
I mean, there's more to it than that, because I'm sure Adrian is not pleased that Tony Kelly missed weight. I'm sure that added to the frustrations, but that's in the main card. And the fight between Jasmine Jasudavicius and Natalia Silva is now the featured prelim for the card. So everything basically just moved up one fight from where it was before, if you know what I mean. Everything just moved up one.
So 13 fights now? Is that right?
13 fights, still a 6-fight main card. We just move up Yanez Kelly to the main, and then the fight between Holland and Means is now the co-main. So there you go. We have let you know what has happened. And now we go to you. It is the People's Pre-Fight Show for a reason. That means we just answer your questions, get your thoughts this entire show until the first two fighters get ready to fight. So that being said,
let me say before this question comes up, I will give the Means Holland co-main event the stamp of approval. It is an actual main event. Obviously, you got to give it a little leeway. It's kind of just getting bumped up the card, but also means a really exciting, well-respected veteran. Holland technically still in our. Oh no, he's out now, but very close to being ranked in the MMA fighting global rankings at middleweight. So it kind of has a fight with a ranked guy. I mean, he would probably still be ranked there if he hadn't left the division. So this is this receives a light stamp of approval of this being a legitimate co-main event.
Yeah, man. Let's go. Let's do this thing. I still love that question.
Yesterday. Yeah, I wish I thought about it. We should have just carried it over to the Q&A.
The last two questions. The last two questions in the preview show were spectacular. Between going through the upcoming movie releases for Donald Cerrone and then this question, I mean, two of the very best questions we've had on these.
Did we mention Dolidze? Did we mention Dolidze? Dolidze would be up there, right?
No. How about Julian Marquez?
Yeah.
I thought about that at ceremonials yesterday. As he walked, I'm like, oh, you know what? That's a weird one too.
Are there no pictures of a beardless Julian Marquez out there? I don't know why. I thought I'd seen, or maybe less of a beard. Maybe I've seen it with less of a beard. A little more clean shaven. Yeah.
Masvidal would look kind of weird now, right?
But we saw him fight plenty of times without a beard. We just
but even not like with the street Jesus thing, you know.
I think it'd be just different. I think it'd be like Arlovsky. You know, you go, oh, that's old Arlovsky if he kind of shaved his beard. I think it'd be more of a throwback. But I just we just never seen certain guys without thick beards.
Derek Lewis, he's fought without a beard before, right?
Derek Lewis.
He has fought without a beard before. Okay.
Like Calvin Kattar has like a beard, but I can imagine him clean shaven. These aren't like things that'll weird me out. Like guys like Paul Craig, I'll be like, ugh.
Paul Craig one's a great one.
I'll just freak out.
Yeah.
So.
They're mentioning in the comments Court McGee. I think we said Court McGee yesterday. I'm pretty sure we mentioned that.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I think we did. I think we mentioned it.
All right.
I love the question though. Is Kattar Emmett still on? You damn right.
Yeah,
You're damn right.
Did you hear something at Tom's Kassan's? Did you hear something that?
We're a go, people.
Yeah, it should be fine.
Yuri Prohashka and Hamzat without beards would be weird. Yeah, Hamzat for sure.
Hamzat for sure. Yeah,
that's the one we all want to see.
Yeah, I can see Yuri without a beard, but Hamzat, that would freak me out.
I just know he has like no chin. I bet he has like a zero, like me. He has like a negative chin, like myself. That's why he's rocking that beard. I would hide this whatever's little.
Johnny Hendricks used to fight without a beard, so like.
Yeah, we've seen that.
Yeah, you've seen it. Yeah. Actually, he's one of those fighters that definitely looks better with a beard. Yeah. All right.
Do we have any non-beard questions?
No.
Seriously? That's amazing.
No. All right. Here we go.
And by the way, let me just say this. I'm glad that we were able to get the show started right as the PFL card ended that started last night. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Oh my God.
God, that was a lot of work, man. Holy potatoes,
I'm not a PFL fan, but I'll watch it because I work in MMA, and so I actually just volunteered and just kind of watched it last night live. And good God, I was like, I should be doing other things. The whole time I was watching that, it's like I should be doing other things. That's all I was thinking.
I quit. I threw in the towel after the Olivier Aubin-Mercier win over Hausch Monfield. That was it. As soon as that was over, I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I've already wasted. I mean, not waste. Prelims are really good, but I spent like 5 hours, like 3 or 4 more fights after that. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not. I can't.
It was weird because it's not like they were bad fights. It was just there was something about everything. It just made. I don't know. It was weird. I was like, how do people do this? I was like,
we don't even need video packages for a lot of these things. Like it's regular season action. That's like watching a baseball game. In between every inning, we have a package on the leadoff batter for that inning. Like we don't need that. Just get to the friggin' hitter and let's go. What are we waiting on? It's so stupid. But anyways.
Yeah.
Do you guys think it's disrespectful for the UFC to put Kyle in the opening prelims when he literally co-mained a card against Holland not long ago? Question, your thoughts on the placement here, AK?
Yeah, we talked about this a bit yesterday. It's odd. It feels odd because it wasn't just last night. I think he's co-main evented. Technically, he's co-main came. Oh, Guys, words hard.
What?
Technically, Daukaus has co-main evented I think 2 events in a row because there was it was him and I want to say it was him and Jamie Pickett, right? Again, that was sort of it just kind of fell into a co-main event spot. So, but he has been back to back penultimate spots. Yeah, those the regrettable Jamal Hill Johnny Walker card. They ended up with Daukaus and Pickett in the co-main. So that's two cards in a row that he has been the second last fight. Yeah, this happens sometimes with matchmaking. We get this weird, not matchmaking, scheduling. We get this weird like inconsistency with how they push certain people, and it's not like Daukaus is. I don't think he's a boring fighter at all. I think his fights are pretty exciting. Like the Kevin Holland fight was as wild as it was super exciting. I mean, it technically ended in a no contest, but it was wild and really fun to watch. And it did feel like the winner of that fight, even though there didn't end up being one, was kind of going to get a push. Maybe they were hoping it was Holland and not Daukaus. But yeah, like I said, then Daukaus was second last fight again, the next card. So I'm not really sure. I will say I don't know how exciting this particular fight will be. I do think him and Delice are both good fighters, but stylistically could be a bit of a mess, could be a bit of a grind. So that's the reason that they want to put it kind of early in the show. That sense, I understand it, but it really feels odd to not put him at least a little bit higher in the prelims, or at least somewhere on this main card. But this main card is also pretty stacked.
No, it's weird. I just think it's weird. I also think it's kind of weird that Axel Adams just calls him Kyle. I guess they're on a very first name basis. You know,
well, if
Kyle.
he had said Daukaus, you'd be like, "Oh, Chris," you know what I mean? He's right.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, Kyle
doesn't.
Fighting.
I get where why this question's being asked, but I don't really care. It doesn't matter. And by the way, let me just say, no, I mean, want to know why I don't care? Because Kyle Daukaus and Roman Dolidze are probably thrilled that they're in this spot. They're thrilled. They're stoked because then they're done. Like they are out of there by 3:30 Central Time to enjoy the beautiful city of Austin for the rest of the night. Like they don't care. Like where are you going to put them? This is not a main card fight. It's just not. Compared to the 6 that are up there, I think this.
Yeah, not on this card. Yeah, not on this card.
Yeah, so why, if you're Daukaus or Dolidze, what's the difference? It's not like a pay-per-view where it's like, okay, here's the ESPN Plus / Fight Pass prelims, here's the ESPN prelims, and then you have the pay-per-view. This is just one big card. So I mean, really, on one station, on one network, it doesn't really matter to me. And those guys, I bet like Haas and Wynn and Stamen and Wineland, Chavez and Ricardo Ramos, they're probably like, lucky guys. Wish I was in that spot so I could get in and get out. I mean, I understand the fans thing is kind of a bummer, but I honestly don't think that place is going to fill up that quickly anyways. So I don't think it really matters, honestly.
I think the first, I'm a little with you, but also the farther down you are in the card, the less media coverage you get, the less likely you're going to get a fight bonus. I mean, they just generally tend to go to the top of the card. But yeah, in the sense that you can get in early and, you know, don't have to wait any lines for brunch. I don't know.
That's right.
By the way, shout outs to Kyle Daukaus for having like one of my favorite MMA related tweets ever. He tweeted back at UFC Vegas 35. A lot of fighters put up their fight picks. You know, they show up a picture of the card lineup and put like, you know, circle who they think is going to win. And he just put, "I just hope that everyone has a lot of fun tonight." And like that is like my favorite MMA tweet. I try to retweet it every time a fight card comes around. So I did it today, guys, and you should retweet it too. I think it's a very, very funny tweet.
And I feel fairly confident from a betting perspective that fight goes the distance in that one is probably the right bet to make, but could be wrong. We'll see. Tristan Gordet, thoughts on Jasudavicius as a veteran prospect? AK should have more insights as Jasmine is a fellow Canadian. A veteran prospect?
I think just her age. I think he's looking at her age, but I mean,
well, yeah. I mean, she found it's because she found MMA so late.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, yeah, she wasn't. It's not like she trained MMA. She got an MMA at like 18. She got into it like 5 years ago.
I think it was a nice way.
By accident, by the way.
I think it was this nice way of saying an older prospect. I think Tristan just didn't want to say that. You know, veteran sounds nicer. She is an older prospect. is an older prospect. But we always like say, like, you measure fighters not just in their age. I mean, obviously, if someone comes in the age like 37, 38, you would certainly say, well, the clock is ticking on them. But also, we just kind of more refer to mileage, right? We look at someone like a Randy Couture when they came in, or like a Daniel Cormier. We say, well, this guy, if they fight right, could still fight like 20, 25 times. Fight years matter more. And yesterday we were calling Max Holloway old. And he's 30.
30, yeah.
And he's 30, but he's been fighting for 10 years. He's fought so many times. Anyway, Tristan, you'd be wrong. I have such a terrible finger on the Canadian MMA scene. Mike would know more than I do. I didn't know how to pronounce her name until she was on Contender Series. I had to go to Mike for it. But I mean, obviously, listen, from what little contact I have with human beings in Canada, there's a lot of buzz around her, a lot of promise. I love this matchup for her. How far can she go in this division? Gosh, I don't know. It's way too early probably to put a ceiling on her. And I think, like a lot of people, I think the flyweight division is a lot stronger than people give it credit for. But as far as names to watch in the Canadian scene, it is always exciting to have one like her who's making waves. And I expect to get an exciting finish today. So, a little homerism maybe.
Two things. Can we? Want to say something, Mike?
I was going to ask AK a trivia question.
How many
Mike, fights? Yep. Ready?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry,
Here's the question.
Speaker to Conquer.
Between her amateur career and her pro career, how many times has Jasmine Jasudavicius fought in Canada?
I'm going to say never.
One time.
One time.
And it took her... it was on her seventh fight ever. No amateur.
Damn.
Yep. No, all her amateur fights are in the States. First two pro fights in the States, including her second pro fight was in Massachusetts, of all places. And then one fight in Canada, and then went to CFFC, to Contender Series, then signed by the UFC. So she's only had one fight in Canada.
See.
But she's good, man. She's good, and she's a natural. Like, she literally fell into it and was a natural. No martial arts training, no nothing. Played sports at high school, dated somebody who is a coach at Niagara Top Team, went to a seminar with him, and the coach was like, hey, you want to like just be part of the seminar and roll around? And she's like, okay. And then she rolled around, and everyone realized, they're like, oh my God, she's like really good. Let's train her. And then she fought like 3 months later, and now she's in the UFC.
So she was a high school athlete, you say?
I think so. Yeah. I remember like the first time talking to her was right before her pro debut, but I had already seen the hype upon her, but she literally just fell into it by accident. Like, if she said no when her boyfriend / coach, they were like, you want to just come on the mat and like hit pads and just do the seminar with us? If she had said no that day, just like, nah, I'd rather like go to the pool or go to the bar and have a drink. Like, if she just said no that day, we wouldn't even be talking about this right now, which is just wild to me.
This just reminds you that MMA is super easy. What's his name? Who's the guy? Who's the football player who's an idiot now? What's his name?
Greg Hardy?
No, the other super football player is an idiot. Oh, actually, that's a pretty vague description.
Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker did it, and he was 48 years old when he did it. This is how easy MMA is, all right? But the other thing I want to say is,
you said the dumb football player who does MMA. So you got to narrow it down.
That was wide open. You know who was in the co-main event of that card that Jasmine Jasudavicius fought on in Canada? Mike, I'm just looking this up now. Lupi Godinez,
Curtis, right?
No, Lupi Godinez. This is a BTC card.
That's right. Yes, Chris Curtis has fought for BTC, I'm sure.
I think so.
Now, do we know anything about Jasmine's opponent? Because for what I'm saying, she's one of the rare signees that didn't come from Contender Series or Tough. She comes from Jungle Fight, and all her fights were regional fights or Jungle Fight in Brazil. So I know nothing about her opponent other than her record. Do you guys know anything about her opponent?
The last opponent she beat is actually pretty solid. Joyce Sumata. Pretty decent. That's what very little I know about her. Otherwise, the record is a little bit padded. Again, if people can go to Topology, check it out.
Well, there's a lot padded, but her last victory, it was just victory.
That was a good one. But this is what have you done for me lately. But before that, there's some 0-0s on there, some 1-0s, some.
She started off three. She lost 3 of her first 4 fights. So I mean, that padded record was really. I mean, it should have been padded. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, she fought relatively to her own record. So
yes, but then later she was still fighting 1-0, 0-1, 0-0 people. Like as she got more experience. It happens on the regional. It happens on the regional scene.
it happens. That's how you're supposed to fight. That's how you build up your record, man. What are you saying?
You should be like Sage Northcutt and getting thrown in there with killers before your 23rd birthday. Look how that turned out for him. Look how that turned out.
Actually, what I wanted to talk about real quick, has because you said like, you know, oh, the flyweight division is better than what people say it is. Has the women's flyweight division, has it surpassed now the women's bantamweight division?
Oh, long time ago.
Why are we still?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like we still add that every time we talk about the flyweight division. We go, it's better than we say it is. You know, it was better than people say it is.
Because we know it, and yet I always see people saying just because Valentina's on top, they're like, oh, there's no one good at flyweight. I'm like, yeah, if you want to compare everyone to Valentina, there's nobody good. But if you just compare from the second ranked person to like the 18th ranked person, it's all solid fighters. All solid fighters.
I'm always kind of confused by just the general consensus that the flyweight division sucks. I was like, and it wouldn't if Ronda Rousey was a 125er instead of a 135er, everything would be about the 125 division, even still today. I feel like, but just that's how it started, and there was a giant gap, and I think it's definitely leveled out to the point where 35 and 45 are clearly the inferior divisions to strawweight and flyweight.
To answer your question, I like Jasmine. She's good. Is she gonna fight for the belt?
We'll see.
Probably not, but I'm not saying that disrespectfully. I'll still a little green, even being in the UFC. She'll probably win this fight. She's just so tall and physical for this division. Like did you see that face off yesterday? She was like, looks like she was a foot taller than this girl. It was crazy. So.
Oh, sorry, I didn't even realize about her opponent. Her opponent hasn't fought in over 2.5 years.
Yeah, she was supposed to fight on Fight Island last year. At least they were still calling it Fight Island. January against Leonardo. And I think that was if memory serves me correctly, she was out, and that's when we saw Manon Fiorot for the first time, was on that card.
Oh.
Is that?
Oh.
Ooh. Okay. All right.
I believe that was Yep, that's right. That was it. She was out. Fiorot took the fight on short notice, made her debut, and now she's fighting Jessica Andrade for a chance to get a title shot a year and a half later. It's crazy.
Wow. 2.5 years. Jeez, that's a long time. All right, next question. Keep it simple.
Who wins the Yanez fight? I think the betting odds are spot on here. Despite how people feel about Tony Kelly and the things he said and maybe the human being in a lot of ways, the fighter is a good fighter. He is a good fighter. He's tough as hell. All of his fights are exciting. He looked really good against Randy Costa, who Yanez also had a win against. But if you want to play MMA math, Yanez struggled against Costa in that first round, and Tony Kelly just kind of ran him over from start to finish. That was a really good performance.
Different fight.
But
very, very different fight, though.
Right. But having said
different type of fight.
But having said that, Yanez is going to knock him out probably in the second round.
All right.
Ooh. I'm going Yanez by decision. Yeah, I think Tony Kelly is actually really good, and but I think Yanez is. I think Yanez is a top 5 guy in the future. I've called him the best boxer in the entire UFC. I think that was probably a bit of hyperbole, but I would stack him up there with almost. I just love his hands. I love his footwork. I love his ability to adapt. He adapts really well. Which is kind of what all the great strikers do. You know, even when they were kind of down, they figure their opponents out. They find a way, and I think Yanez has that in him. So I do see him as being a top 5 guy, and I think the odds are accurate. Nothing against Tony Kelly's fighting ability, but that's how high I am on Adrian Yanez.
Now, when Tony Kelly missed weight, did he wait to the very end? Or was he one of those guys that came in the first 30 minutes and missed weight?
Oh, that's a good question. He definitely was not in the last 30. He definitely was not. He definitely was not one of the last people to weigh in.
So
I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. He was. I'm sorry. He was one of the last few people to weigh in, but it wasn't like it wasn't like a buzzer beating. It wasn't like in the last 10 minutes. But he was one of the last. It was him, Darren Wynn, and someone else. He was one of the last 3 people to weigh in. Yeah.
I am curious what the significant weight miss, how that will affect the fight. Is this going to be an advantage for Kelly or a disadvantage? Because sometimes you miss weight, it actually even worse because they spent so much energy to still miss weight. So no one really knows that but him. But I guess we'll find out. But yeah, Yanez should win second round knockout.
I will say this. I will say this just from speaking with I've spoken with Adrian Yanez a number of times over the last few years. When I spoke with him a week or two ago before this fight, totally different guy. Totally different guy. Relaxed, patient. You know, just he's a dad now. Maybe it's because he's Daddy Yanez, and they just had a baby.
Oh,
yeah, he's I think 6 months or something like that. Not even. It wasn't long after the Davy Grant win, but he's dad. The baby's mom and the baby will be in the building. They're in Austin with him, so he's excited to go get the knockout and go give his family a hug. So, and by the way, the comments didn't change Yanez's approach at all. It's not like he was like, "Oh, now I have to really go knock this guy out." He's just like, "Well, I was gonna knock this dude out anyway. It's just gonna like feel a little bit cooler."
Feel better, yeah.
So
he's not gonna feel as bad for crushing another man's dreams. Yeah.
I just want to say those damn Tony Kellys always cheating on the scale. Oh God, no! Don't cast.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Apologies to all the Tony Kelly. All the Tony Kellys out there. They're gonna come after me now.
Yeah, I already got HR after me.
Yeah. Doesn't feel so good, does it, Tony Kelly? When people generalize, it's damn Tony Kellys.
All right. All right, we talked too much about Tony Kelly. My fault.
That would be pretty crazy if Tony won the fight, though.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
He could. Like I said, he's a good fighter.
No, he is. He's a good fighter. He's a good fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Is he a top 15 bantamweight?
If he beats Adrian Yanez, he might be.
Yeah.
Top. I don't have.
Even missing weight, would you? Well, that's. There's a lot of ifs. A lot of ifs. Yeah.
He's in the conversation. I will say that if he beats Adrian Yanez.
Oh.
What is Buckley's ceiling in the UFC? Do you guys think he can make it to the top of the division or even be a future champ? Casey, I'll begin with you. Is this a true or false? Joaquin Buckley in the next 3 years, by this day, 2025, Joaquin Buckley is either or has already been in the top 10 at 185.
Big false.
Explain your work.
Okay.
That was such a powerful statement. Why, Casey?
Joaquin Buckley is a good action fighter, and he's great for mid-card prelim fight nights like this. He's a exciting fighter, and but I don't ever see him breaking into the top 10.
Okay.
I do think he has a top 10 ceiling. I think he can. I love his tools. I love, Jed always talks about just people being plus athletes in MMA, how far that can take you. It certainly it doesn't guarantee success. We've had some amazing athletes in MMA who have done nothing. But I think he has that. Plus, obviously, he's just he's a really skilled guy, a really skilled striker. I actually think it's funny. I actually think because Casey called him an action fighter, which isn't wrong. I think his crazy highlights, the two, the big kick knockout of Impa Kasanganay, and then he had another big knockout after that. I think it's Jordan Wright was right after that. Yeah. I think those helped him, obviously, publicity-wise, and also hurt him. I do think they kind of put him into this into this category. People are like, oh, this is a guy who we're going to see and hope for a highlight, but we don't expect necessarily that he'll be able to beat the best guys in the division. And of course, we haven't seen that yet. We haven't seen him beat a top guy in the division. I liked the Abdul Razak Al Hassan win, not like a super dominant victory, but he did enough to get it on the cards, which was something you want to see from a guy who's normally known for, I guess considered finish or bust. So he kind of eked out that decision, and that was good, right? We kind of like to see that. That today is going to be a big test with Duraev. This will go a long way towards answering that question. Again, if he puts on a good, nice, complete, well-rounded performance and can maybe cap it off with a knockout, it's going to raise his ceiling in the eyes of a lot of people considerably. So I'm very high on Buckley, and I'm thinking right now, I could see top 10. I think that's more than reasonable.
Who's number 10 right now?
I'm on team Casey Leydon. No, I don't think he's going to be a top 10 guy. But there's nothing wrong with that. There have been many fighters. Yeah, there have been many fighters who have had tremendous careers without being top 10 fighters. There are certain fighters that get a reaction every time you see him on a poster. UFC Sioux Falls just added Joaquin Buckley against anybody. We're like, ooh, all right, Joaquin Buckley's back. I think he's going to lose tonight. I don't think he's going to beat Albert Duraev. I know the vibes bettors out there maybe took a little flyer on Mr. Buckley because of the treatment of the feline friends from Mr. Duraev. But from just a stylistic perspective, I feel like Duraev's just the more complete guy. And I just feel like Buckley's a big athletic guy, but I just feel like even as big and as like yoked as he is, I still feel like he's a little undersized for this division.
For middleweight,
and I feel like that's gonna,
for sure.
If he drops and like can make it healthy and in like a very nice way where he's not just like killing himself to get there, I might change my tune a little bit. I just don't feel he's gonna beat a lot of these upper tier. Like if Joaquin Buckley fought Gerald Meerschaert, who would you pick in that fight, AK?
I probably would pick Buckley. I actually do like Buckley's chances in that fight.
I'd probably go with Meerschaert in that fight.
I'll go Meerschaert.
This is bigger, stronger.
Yeah.
Like Meerschaert's got a chin too. Like I mean, if you knock him out, like he's not going to feel the kind of pressure that he felt like going against Chimaev fighting Joaquin Buckley. And I feel like the longer the fight, he might just smush him.
But middleweight has in our top 10 has guys who are not like the biggest middleweights. Robert Whittaker is up there. Obviously, Buckley is not as, let's not put him in Robert Whittaker category right now, but I'm talking about size-wise. Sean Strickland, I don't think is the biggest middleweight. I wouldn't consider him. And Calvin Gastelum, depending how people rate him. Darren Till probably is where he belongs. Darren Till, I don't think we can call a welterweight anymore. He probably was always a middleweight that was cutting down to 170. But yeah, there's guys, again, there are people at middleweight who are top 10, top 15 guys who are of Buckley size. So I think like not cutting weight and his speed will be big advantages at 185. If he decides to go down to 170, I mean, that'd be pretty exciting. But part of me almost doesn't want him to. Like, I almost don't want to see him put himself through that if he can avoid it and if he can be a contender at this weight
stay at
class.
185 and be in these kind of mid-card fight nights and just fight, 5 times a year rather than making these continuous cuts. Was Joe Lauzon ever a top 10 lightweight?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
And the UFC, I mean, they didn't have rankings, so it's hard to say, really, right? No.
That's what I mean. Like, it's Joe Lauzon, maybe a Hall of Fame career. I don't know, whatever. But he's kind of a UFC legend. Joaquin Buckley can be the same thing. You don't need to be a top 10 fighter. Just stay healthy. Keep getting action fights. If the fans want to see you fight, the UFC will keep throwing you out there. And just, win every third fight.
Look at Nico Price. Everybody wants to Nico Price fight. Everyone wants to see that dude fight. You know what I mean? It was Michel Pereira for a long time. Now he's winning fights, but I mean, I just don't know. Buckley looked good in his last fight. Like it was a different kind of showing, but I just don't. Even if he does that, it was a good
measured performance. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I don't know if Commander Dale Brown's going to be in his corner tonight either. So we have to put that into.
I got to change my picks.
Here are some of the names he'd have to jump over to get to the top 10 in our rankings: Calvin Gastelum, Uriah Hall, Darren Till. I could believably see him going over those guys now, and then it gets tough.
You pick Buckley over any of those guys?
No, that's what I'm saying. I could see him passing them in the rankings. I mean, some people won't. I know there's a lot of people who probably don't even have Gastelum ranked anymore. It's just he hasn't won a fight in so long. I still do, but I'm very.
But
I'm very
he hasn't
stubborn
fought anyone outside the top whatever.
Gastelum, yeah, that's my logic for it. Yeah. So, but I mean, I could see Buckley either beating one of those guys or putting together like a win streak that has him jump over those guys. But then when you hit the top 10, Andre Muniz, Jack Hermanson, Strickland, Paulo Costa, then it's a little bit Derek Brunson. Now we're getting in territory where I'm not super confident on him breaking into there, but I wouldn't rule it out. I do see a lot of potential for him at 185. So yeah, I'm bullish on it.
All right.
By the way, for those wondering who's going to be on the call, we got Massachusetts native Brendan Fitzgerald, Cape Cod's own, and teaming up with him, Daniel Cormier and Dominic Cruz.
Oh, the double DC combo.
Oh, I like that.
Nice, dude. Nice.
We don't have fighters coming out yet. They're still doing some pre-fight hype. They were explaining the of course the Cerrone Lauzon situation for anyone who's not tuned into social media. That's how they started off the broadcast, letting people know. So yeah, we can keep it going.
With Yuri recently being the first champion from the Czech Republic, who do you think will be the next one to bring gold back to their country? I could see Merab or Giga doing it for Georgia. I just don't
really
think
good.
Giga's. Yeah, I don't think Giga's winning a title. I just don't see it happening unless something just crazy happens. I think Kattar just kind of showed, and is again, you can have a very good career being a top 10 guy. And I feel like Giga is a top 10 guy. I just don't think he's like a top 3 to 5 guy. I don't think he's a guy who's challenging for a title. But again, you could be a top 10 guy and have a very good career. Merab could be the guy. He could be. If he beats Jose Aldo, that's a tough fight for Merab. It's a tough fight for Aldo. Maybe? I don't know. What do you think, AK?
I'll tell you who's going to add gold to their country soon.
Uh-oh.
We're going to have some gold coming to Paraguay after Alexander Martinez wins the PFL lightweight tournament and becomes this question did not specify UFC. Did not specify UFC. Alexander Martinez may be getting away with one on Friday night with a decision win over Clay Collard. You want to see history being made? Perhaps we will see the first MMA world champion from Paraguay. Also a little nod to Canada. Alexander Martinez also represent Canada, but he is a native Paraguayan. And since this question did not specify UFC, I'm just saying.
I scored it for Martinez.
I know Casey scored it for Martinez.
It was close. It was very close though. It was very close.
So maybe he's 2 wins away. He's 2 wins away.
Maybe because I want to see Clay Collard out of the PFL and either in Bellator or the UFC.
Oh, I know, right?
I think that his PFL time is done. I think we want to see him not fight in the Kirkland brand shorts that they wear.
Yeah.
And,
Two times Clay Collard has been on the wrong end of a tough decision. Harsh Manfio last year as well. He could have been fighting in the finals last year, but it didn't work out for him. So I cheated. Sorry, Joshua Macklin. You didn't say UFC. Ha!
Have we had a champ? We haven't had an Ecuadorian world champion yet, have we?
Not as far as I know.
Cheeto Vera. I think Cheeto's got a chance. I think he'll fight, but I don't know. So it looks like the first fight start. We already did the promo package, so let's play a game before we make our main card picks. Okay. AK bonuses.
Fight of the night. Marquez Rodriguez. I'm tempted to say Ismagulov Kutateladze, but I think Marquez Rodriguez will be like more wild fun, even though I don't think it's going 3 rounds. But I think as long as it goes, it's gonna be super chaotic and fun. I think Joaquin Buckley is gonna finish Sarayev, so there's one of your performance bonuses.
Ooh, look at you! Wow.
And I think Jasmine. Wait for it. Yes, Jasmine Jasudavicius will also get an impressive finish, and she will also get bonused up.
Interesting.
So there you go.
Casey.
Yeah.
Performance bonuses. Tim Means and Phil Hawes.
Oh.
And fight of the night. Demir versus Garam.
Yeah, that's such a sick fight. Oh
that's God, a great fight.
That's a good fight.
I didn't even bother pronouncing their full names, so I was just but I know it's gonna be freaking great. I'm really excited for that fight.
What a matchup.
I mean, the fight of the night seems way too easy, so I'm going with the low hanging fruit. It's gonna be the main fight of the night. Even if it's somewhat competitive, they're gonna get it. So, and it's gonna be competitive. It'll be fun, and they'll both have moments, and that's going to be the winner. And then Texas is taking on both performance bonuses. Adrian Yanez. Sorry, Casey. Kevin Holland.
Ooh, we're going one way.
Kevin Holland thwarting a robbery and then thwarting Casey's bonus prediction when he submits Tim Means in round 2 with a clubbing sub. Let's go.
Who did we not mention?
that-
We're gonna get like Maria Oliveira, Gloria DePaula fight of the night. Court McGee performance bonus when he knocks out Jeremiah Wells in 9 seconds.
Cody
And,
Stamen could get a performance bonus tonight. I think Danny Chavez, Ricardo Hamas is going to be a fun fight. I mean, there's
It's a
other
very good card.
options,
It's a very good card.
but-
It's a very good card.
Yeah, low hanging. All right, real quick. Anyone picking Tony Kelly?
No.
No. Ismagulov, Kutateladze, AK.
Ismagulov.
Ismagulov decision. Casey.
Ismagulov.
Julian Marquez, Gregory Rodriguez, Casey.
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez submission round 2, AK.
That's what I said.
Rodriguez, club and sub.
You're picking Buckley with a finish, AK.
Yeah, second round.
Drive decision for me, Casey.
Drive decision. But on my picks, I had Buckley, but I switched it to drive now.
Wow.
Kevin Holland, second round submission for me, AK.
Tim Means decision.
Casey.
Tim Means, second round KO. Elbows.
Wow.
Damn. That fight's gonna be great. And
Yeah.
main event, anyone picking Josh Emmett?
No.
No.
Yep. Calvin Kattar across the board. So we'll see who's right, who's wrong, or if we're all just terrible at picking. We'll find out after the event. Enjoy UFC Austin, everybody. First fight about to kick off.
Peace.